Were the two heists really worth it? The gang has managed to steal over 5.1 billion euros. But how much actually entered their pocket? And were Tokyo's and Nairobi's deaths actually in vain? Let's find out. After the first heist, the Dalis printed a total of 984 million euros. But there were some complications. In the course of the heist, 16 hostages managed to escape after taking out one of the gang. To get the rest of the sheep under control, they offered the hostages two options. They offered them either freedom or the chance to become an accomplice in exchange for 1 million euros. Naturally, most of them chose the second, 40 of them to be precise. Now, the professor did say that they were gonna renege on the promise, but Nairobi convinced him otherwise. That brings the total prize pool down to 944 million euros. The 944 million gets split 9 ways. I imagine Moscow's share goes to his son, Berlin's to his brother, and Oslo's to Helsinki. Some of you may be wondering about the other expenses, like the cost of the guns, the masks, even the Serbs. But the plan was 20 years in the making. Those expenses would have come out of the professor's and Berlin's pockets beforehand. Everything before the first heist was pre-planned by Sergio. The second heist, however, was a whole different ballgame. The very first phase was to execute Plan Chernobyl, which involved dropping 140 million euros down onto Spain. If the professor paid for all that, he wouldn't have much left, which is why I'm sure the expenses were split among everyone equally. We'll see just how much that was at the end of the video. What might surprise you is that the blimp from which they dropped the money was a pretty penny itself. Blimps cost about $1,000 to rent today, but my man Sergio, there's no way he'd leave a paper trail behind. It's way safer to buy a blimp from Black, and blimps cost about 10 million bucks a pop. The helicopter was a massive expense. Imagine buying a $25 million double-bladed behemoth on the off chance that something goes wrong. This next part of the video is what I had the most trouble with. In the last episode, all the gold bars were replaced with gold-plated brass bars. The density of brass is about half as much as gold. That means 90 tons of gold would require 41 tons of brass to make. That costs only about 165k euros. For the gold-plated bit, we need the number of gold bars and the surface area. But what is surface area? If he has to make my entire face red, he'll need to know the surface area of my face. The more the surface area, the more the slabs. If I have to gold plate a bar, I'll need to know the dimensions of the bar. To find out the answer, I barked up the wrong 3. In this scene, I stacked gold bars on top of Nairobi. Nairobi is 5'9" and there are a total of 28 gold bars. That was about as far as I got before my brain fried. Next, I blew up all my money for the same reason most guys do. A woman. I had a revelation. Nairobi and I, we look pretty similar. We've got the same black hair, we've got the same brown skin, and we've both got those pianist fingers. In the most expensive part of my YouTube career, I bought gloves to see if I had anything of the same size. My book looked about right. It was 9 fingers worth. But then I realized I didn't know how long 9 fingers were. The last time I saw a ruler, my friend Quilks borrowed it so he could discipline his brother. After 2 days of frantic searching, I found what looked to be the gold size used in the show. This dude's hand, it couldn't match mine or Nairobi's, but the gold bar looked about the same. At 12.4 kgs, it meant there were exactly 7,258 gold bars. I was psyching out, guys. I'd finally done it. I was over the moon until...
¿Sacado de ahí dentro?
Tanto. 7.258. 12 kilos y medio cada uno, 600.000 euros.
Si son como 4.350.
At least I had all the info I needed. The cost of gold plating all the bars would be 1.3 million euros. Let's get through the rest of them quick. There was the million they gave to bribe Antonianzas. They gave 100,000 to each of the 8 farmers. If you guys want to figure out how I got that figure, just leave a comment down below. I didn't want to get too technical in this video. And about $1 million for the guns, the equipment, the RV, the suits, the masks and whatnot. And let's not forget the omelets, guys. Now what you guys may not know is that I'm a bit of an omelet connoisseur myself. Those were 2 egg omelets. Eggs are costly nowadays, man. And they stole 4 at 0.64 euro. Finally, for the real kicker. You remember when Raphael, Berlin's son, stole all the gold and then just decided to give it all back? The professor actually wrote something on a note. The first thing I thought of was that he wrote a number, especially considering he was only scribbling for about 3 seconds. If you listen closely, there were 4 scratches followed by a single scratch. That's a 2-digit number right there. Straight lines have a constant sound, while curved lines change in pitch. The second number is a curved line, and it's too short to be an 8. It's either a 0 or a 6. Who offers a cut ending in 6, bro? That's blasphemy. You'll be kicked out of Shark Tank straight away if you do that. So it has to be a 0. What about the first one? You can hear it's made up of 4 straight lines. 3 is the only number that fits the bill. Raphael would give them 40% of the money and keep 60% to himself. They would be left with
about 1,127,000,000.
Who exactly is they though?
The primary team will all get equal shares.
We can't forget about the Pakistanis who take on Rio's role and are indispensable to the plan. The same holds true for the Serbs and Benjamin's gang who reforge all the gold particles back into gold bars. A surprise partner is Alicia Sierra. She made their life hell, but there's no doubt that she was crucial to the plan unfolding the way it did. Rio really didn't do much, but by this point he's already considered family, so there's sure to be some bias towards him. The gang of blacksmiths, including Matthias, are all under Bogota, so I'm going to consider them one unit. After all the calculations, we find that each character gets
70.4 million.
So that's it. Tokyo's and Nairobi's death were in vain. They died so that the gang could get less than what they got in the first heist. I guess money heist really is a tragedy. Or is it? I was browsing Reddit when my eyes were finally opened. Have a look at these fake gold bars right here. Now peek at the real ones. Something that not many people know is that Raphael actually stole the fake gold bars. That's why the professor was so desperate to get it back. He cares about his gang above all else. He wants to get them out alive. He could have gotten them out first and then searched for the gold. But he was telling the truth all along. He never knew where the gold was, and now that Raphael had stole the bronze bars, he basically signed off his team's death warrants. Now suddenly, Raphael's deal makes a lot more sense. He was sitting on gold-plated brass bars that were worth just about 1.5 million euros, a lot less than what he expected to have. Raphael became the 17th partner, and this might be a bit of a cop-out, but there wasn't enough time for him to whisper a meaningful message to Alicia. There had to be a time skip over there, and it's the same with the note he wrote. Suddenly, the calculations look a lot more optimistic. Now each person gets
245.5 million.
More than double what they earned in the first heist. It looks like Nairobi and Tokyo can rest in peace.